On occasion like this, what should one say about an enigma like the Awujale of Jebu land? A man you will love to hate and hate to love.
I called him a dependable ally, and that is a word that is pregnant with a lot of meaning.
People have variously referred to him, which I agree, as the Orisha Jebu, the Oba Tungba Dobale Oba. But for me, Kabiyesi represents the finest, the best in the traditional institution.
He places Jebu's interests above his own. He's very kind, generous, accommodating, and he believes in nothing short of absolute honesty.
As a person, Oba Adiktono is a fine gentleman. He has a lot of attributes that are very, very positive.
He's brought onto this throne a unique attitude towards Obaship. And we believe that it might take the Jebu kingdom another 100 years to produce another one.
I remember the day they were having a fundraising here, and the amount of checks or funds that was being raised at the end of the day was so much that I felt the Jebu people couldn't have shown love other than this to my father.
Kábíyèsí Awujale, Akilẹ̀ Jebu, Uko Oluda, aláṣẹ pákéjì òòṣà, ajogun bàbá yèyé, abẹ́rẹ́ má san ògbòrògọ́ndà, òbọ́lọ́mọjà mọ́pọ́nmọ́re, ajídéyé ìjọ kan ró, yéyé ran ìdọ́wọ̀, tìran ìbolóní, tìran ìbọ́gẹ̀dẹ́ fún iṣẹ́ àṣemọ́, gbogbo adó ọdún kan ni, kò má ṣe múlẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ìwé, ẹni wà ní kákò, kúlà dọ́ọ̀ lọ́jọ́, àdá pẹ̀nú orí rẹ̀, bàtà pẹ̀nẹ́sẹ̀, ó di gbà pẹ̀nú ọrùn. Kábíyèsí Alọ́lọ́rùwà máa wòyó.
The Yoruba people of Western Nigeria all claim origin from Oduduwa, the first Oba of Ile-Ife, who sojourned from Mecca to Ile-Ife. All Yoruba people agree to this, except, of course, the children of Oliwa. They are regarded as innovative and illustrious people and are popularly known for their success at commerce, their organized society, and their pride in their cultural heritage.
The Jebu people, they are not farmers, they are commercial people and are civilized. So they are all sophisticated.
The Jebu people are a proud people. And Awujale has perfected the way to endear himself to his own people.
The Jebu land people, they are very, very hospitable people. They are dynamic, they are very friendly, they have business acumen, and they are very, very lovable people that you can happily interact with whenever you meet them.
There's a saying that the Jebus, the Yorubas in general, hate the Jebu people. They hate them because Jebu people are tradesmen, very advanced in trade. We traded with the Portuguese and later with the British. But we would not allow people from hinterland to come across and have access to Lagos because Koodu was Jebu and the entire Remo was Jebu. So, I mean, that was their preference. Everybody for himself. I mean, that was that time. As time went on, the relationship, became more relaxed. That's it with life.
They're intelligent and have pride that they are Ijebu people. And I think that is very fundamental.
All indigents are divided into the Regbe, which are age groups. Each district with its titled chiefs, who are divided into different hierarchies. Otumbas, who are the right hand of the king, Afobaje, kingmakers who are called upon when a new king is to be chosen, and the king himself, Awujale, who rules over the Ijebu Ode.
Like I said, Ijebu is very progressive, they're enlightened, they appreciate the rule of the monarchy. And there's much no problem at all. I can see that the position still subsists for centuries to come.
Ṣé mi kọ́ mi ṣiṣẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ bá mi lèmi ṣe bá mi rọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ da ọjà lẹ́tẹ́lẹ̀ kó rẹ̀ kú bá mi yẹn jẹ́ kọ́dírì àdàrán after bá mi kú 1981 Awujale ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá mú mi ní 1986 ìgbà ni mo ti wà ń bí tó wá sọ fún pé iṣẹ́ tí bàbá mi ń ṣe ni mo máa ṣe fún nǹkan ìbílẹ̀ àṣà ìbílẹ̀ ká lè tẹ̀ fún ọba tó máa fọba jẹ kí olóbìnrin òjòwú tó bá fẹ́ ṣe ètùtù kó rán mi lọ síbẹ̀ tí àwọn alágẹmọ tó bá máa ṣọdún èmi ló máa rán lọ síbẹ̀ láti lọ ṣe aṣojú ẹ̀ àwọn iṣẹ́ tí mo ń ṣe nìyẹn.
Ajogun Ogboroganda was a brave warrior, and as he sojourned from Ile-Ife towards Ijebu Ode, he fought several battles. It was during one of these wars, the Igbo War, that the title Awujale emerged. Igbo, a follower of Ajogun Ogboroganda's brother, had snatched his wife before leaving Ile-Ife. Ajogun Ogboroganda decided to enact his vengeance and laid siege against Igbo's settlement. He faced Igbo face to face in a battle and became so angry that he thrust his blade straight through the heart of Igbo, killing him in a single blow. From that day on, he became known as Omoja Ileja, meaning that it was one who knows how to fight for his property, now shortened to Awujale.
Awujale is always a peacemaker. Let me tell you one. On the occasion of his 80th birthday, I will say it loud. He noticed that a prominent Ijebu and I had stiff relationship. Also equally successful. Do you know what Awujale did to us? He called the two of us. He said, he did something, this sort of sign. It means I'm appealing to you. When the elder said, please, both of you should not quarrel. You are the mirror of my reign. Iwogbe Jebu, Iwogbe, those are the words he used. It takes somebody with a sophisticated mind, a refinement that is beyond the mundane. He wouldn't want his children to be at loggerheads. So where he finds two prominent Ijebus not being as close as he would expect, he is always a peacemaker.
The current Awujale of Ijebu Ode is Oba Sikiru Adetono, Ogbagba II, Anikinaya I. He is the 53rd ruling Awujale and has held the position since 1960, making him the longest ruling monarch in the southwest region of Nigeria.
He's God sent. There are many things in his favor. He has recorded so many successes. And I say more grease to his elbows.
By the time he took over the ruling of Ijebu land, and I'm talking about 1960 or so when he became the Kabiyesi there, they had a small, which I call small family house, which they call their palace, where every Jebu king goes to rule. Before he came into the ruling of Ijebu land, he already built a palace-like building, which he was residing in. And it is when he became the Kabiyesi, he was even residing there because it was a fantastic place. And because he's also a mobilizer, he's also somebody who encourages good things. He's also somebody who brings change where change does not occur. Immediately he got there, he encouraged the Jebu people that they need a befitting palace. I have never seen another palace in Yoruba land that is that mighty, that modern, and all the time I believe that God has a purpose for creating him and for making him a Kabiyesi there.
The Awujale is a kind, gentle person, a successful leader of the Yorubas, of the Ijebus in the past 50 years plus. As a friend, I regard him as a very true, genuine friend. You can go and talk to in confidence about a problem, if any, and he would reply you and give you fatherly advice. He's a gentleman.
Oba Adetono was born on the 10th of May 1934 to Prince Rufus Adetono and his wife Alaja Ajibabi Adetono, who hailed from the notable family of Omolu Badejo in Ijebu. Growing up, the young prince spent his time playing with his friends and assisting his father at his abattoir at Atenda Market. He fondly remembers that during the Ileya festival, his father would buy cows from the north and transport them by train to Ibadan. The Oba and his siblings would then guide the herd by foot from Ibadan all the way to Jebu, an experience he believes helped him discover various villages and helped him during his coronation rites. His mother was very adamant that all her children would be educated and insisted on enrolling her son once he was old enough. Oba Adetono started his primary education between 1943 and 1950 at Baptist School, Eroko, Ijebu, and Ansarudeen Primary School, Ijebu.
Oh, yes. We, the Jebu, immediately after the conquest, the 1892, the Anglo-Jebu War, when the Jebu territory was made open, we embraced education, Western education. And if you look at all the schools, not only government-provided schools, there are private individual schools too providing education institutions. This because they appreciate the power of education, and that no development can take place without good educational foundation.
He started his secondary education in 1951 at Oluiwa College, now Adeola Odutola College, Ijebu Ode, after being coerced by Mr. Adesanya, his mother's relation. As a rebellious young boy, he bought into the popular idea at the time that education was just training to make you earn money. He considered his parents well off, the punishments by teachers unnecessary, and the whole activity uninteresting, but stayed in school to please his mother. After secondary school, the young prince went to Ibadan to stay with his aunt, Mrs. Oyadenuga, and family, while working at the audit department of the Western region of Nigeria. He resigned in 1958 and decided to further his education in England. He remained in England, studying until he received the shocking news that he was going to become the next Awujale of Ijebu Ode.
As a young man, you don't know even the content of the office. So it didn't mean much. There was nothing special about it because I was not even thinking of it. It was not even part of my program, not my diary. Like I said, the most important thing is that wherever you are, you must try to be credible.
I've known the Awujale, Kabisi as we know him, for at least 25 years, but it seems I've known him all my life. We're very much involved in each other's lives.
In Ijebu Ode, there are 4 ruling families: the Anikinaya, Fusengbua, Gbelegbua, and Vidikpote. These families rule Ijebu in turns. When is the turn of a ruling house only, an Abidagba, that is the son of a king born during his father's reign, can ascend the throne.
Every Otumba traditionally is a son of the Awujale. Otumba connotes dukedom. You are made a duke of a particular area. So we are related through our ancestors. The present Awujale is from the Anikilaya ruling house. My ancestors are from the Fushegba ruling house. And there are 4 ruling houses here under the Awujale chieftaincy. The Anikilaya, the present one, the Fushegba, which I belong to. Incidentally, my title is Otumba Fushegba. Fushegba is the name of the ruling house. We have Fidikpote ruling house. We have the Gbelegbua ruling house. The Fidikpote and the Fushegba are children of the same mother. The Anikilaya and Gbelegbua are also the same mother. But we are now 4 ruling houses.
Prince Rufus Adetono, though a respected businessman, was uneducated and decided to forfeit his right as an Abidagba, and instead chose to submit the name of his son, Prince Sikiru Adetono, when it was time for the Anikinaya family to rule Ijebu Ode. Although there were several arguments against the nomination of Oba Sikiru Adetono, the Afobaje met on the 28th of October 1959 and unanimously decided on Oba Sikiru Adetono as the next Awujale, and sent Chief Adeola Shonibare to deliver this news to the young prince and prepare the Oba-elect for his homeward journey. Oba Adetono returned to Nigeria and began the coronation ceremonies in earnest. First came the Ilete ceremony, during which he had to sit on a fafa mat with only a wrapper and agbada as clothing. The next stage was a compulsory journey to Odo. The incumbent Awujale had to walk by foot to Odo, passing through several settlements where villagers would troop out to clear a path for him through their journey to the border of the next village. The entire journey took 2 days. Upon getting to Odo, an akata was built for him with a simple iron bed. Oba Adetono believed that life has prepared him for this destiny, as his journey by foot as a child to Ibadan and back with cattle had not gone to waste. These traditional rites are performed to ensure the Oba understands the plight of the poor people. Oba Adetono II remembers vividly rain falling on him through the cracks of the akata during the Odo ceremony for the 3 months. On his return to Ijebu Ode, The prince and his entourage took another path leading them to the Owa stream, whereby the traditional of the Elese of Ilese carried the Oba on his back across the stream so that his feet would not touch the water. After this, according to Ijebu custom, the Elese must never see the Oba again for the rest of his life.
I recall that my late father, who was of the same age with his father, age group, Oba Fora, would go down and prostrate for him. I recall even his own father would bend. The tradition was so strict. But Awujale liberalized it. And that opened the way for the younger generation of the Jebus to have direct access to him. That is the greatest thing he has done to the throne of Awujale.
In 1997, he summoned all Jebu people to this palace. And we made a resolution at that time, of which humbly I was the person who signed the communique, that if an Oba dies in post, he should be buried according to his religious belief. If he's a Muslim, if they want to bury him the next hour, may God bless him. If he's a Christian, if they want to take him to the church, by the time they leave church, they go to the cemetery, get the man interred in full, not in pieces, like what happened in the previous ages. So that is that. That is one of the radical innovations he introduced into Ijebu traditional Oba rulership, which is to everybody's, people are very happy about it.
Well, I believe firmly that the culture is a way of life. There are certain aspects of our culture that must be modified, that cannot meet up with the modern trend, and even with development, with civilization. I believe in it. There are a number of that we must modify, but that notwithstanding, we do have to jettison them, because when you throw it off, you cease to be the people who you are.
On the 2nd of April, 1960, the young prince was crowned by the Moguso as Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono, the Awujale Ogbagba, the 2nd of Jebu land, and his reign began. The Oba's most important objective during his reign has been to promote continued unity amongst the Jebus. He has ensured the resurrection of the Ojude Oba festival to its former glory, the construction of the new Aafin, and the establishment of a microfinance scheme for the Ijebu people.
He will seek for sons and daughters of Ijebu land, look after them, talk to them, look for areas where they can be assisted. And in turn, they will assist Ijebu land too. And I make bold to say this, and I'm saying this with some sense of responsibility, and without prejudice to the unity that exists within the all other sectors, other segments within Ogun State. You will realize that the people from Ijebu, they somehow, Kabiyesi has managed to bring everybody together. They more or less speak with one voice.
It's brought a lot of education, health, emancipation of women, name it. And he's done that through his own personal sacrifice, integrity, and knowledge to help everybody. He's open to everybody, but he's very strict. He can be critical, he's honest, and he defends you if you're on your right course.
Jebu people, they are very hardworking. Right, it's in their genes. The Jebu people, normally, they are not extravagant. They work very hard, make a good living, and most of the houses in Ibadan, even in certain parts of Lagos, are owned by the Jebus. They are very industrious.
Like I said to you, you see, any Jebu study economics, it don't just do revision. We are commercial people. We know how to make money. Jebu know how to make money. In fact, so much so that they used to refer in those days to Awujale. I don't know whether you've heard about that. We are renowned for this, that we are great commercial people. And if you look at all the enterprises in the country, Jebu are dominant in all the economic situations in the country, Nigeria today.
The Aafin is the traditional palace and seat of the power of the Awujale. When Oba Adetono was installed as Awujale, there was no proper Aafin for him to rule from. He stayed in the tax office, part of which had been a temporary home for the former Awujale, as he left the old Aafin to be in a district closer to police due to rampant armed robbery. At the celebration of Oba Adetono's 25th anniversary on the throne, Ijebu's sons and daughters agreed that the Awujale deserved a better accommodation and decided to rally around and donate towards the building of a new Aafin.
ìyàtọ̀ ẹ wà ní Ìjẹ̀bú gbúrúgbúrú ni èsì ọba Awujale rè jẹ́ kó má ṣe ribiribi ní Ìjẹ̀bú ní bàbá dé orí oyè ibi báyìí kì í ṣe bó ṣe rí ni ilé pákó ni ní pẹ̀tẹ́sì bàbá dórí oyè ó pe gbogbo ọ̀rá ìlú pátá tó lóyè tẹ̀yàn alákàrà tó lépo tó líyọ̀ gbogbo ló dá owó tó fi káfí kò yáwó lọ́wọ́ ìjọba kò dẹ̀ sí ìjọba kan tó lọ́wọ́ nú ẹ̀ kò sí káàsù kan tó lọ́wọ́ nú ẹ̀ kò sí president kan tó lọ́wọ́ nú ẹ̀ Akílẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú ló kọ́ eléyìí.
Oba Adetono became the de facto site supervisor and ensured that every penny was accounted for and no contractor was owed. Finally, on the 25th of November 1995, the new Aafin was opened with as much pomp and pageantry as several notable sons and daughters of Ijebu were honored with chieftaincy titles. This achievement was a practical demonstration that the Jebu people will always be depended upon to rally a good cause.
His reign has brought a lot of progress to Ijebu land. It's brought unity on a scale that is untrammeled. It's brought understanding amongst Ijebus. It's actually brought quite a lot of innovations and recording of historicals in order that the institution itself has become more and more desirable for others. I believe that a lot of communities look at us through what he has achieved, particularly the concept and the building and modernization of the palace and the extension also of the pavilion. He is a reference point.
There are two main festivals in Ijebu-Ode, the Agemo Festival and the Ojude Oba Festival. Agemo is a masquerade that depicts the 16 Alagemo priests that follow the first Awujale to Ijebu-Ode and is one of the traditional institutes that united Ijebus annually. Due to huge embarrassment to the Awujale during his performance at the ceremony in 1979, Oba Adetono refused to attend the festival since.
The Awujale mode of ruling is bringing people together. He's been able to harness, for instance, all the traditional rulers of Ijebu land to be one. All the Otumbas, they adore him because he had been fair to all. To the chiefs, the same thing, with the result that everybody in Ijebu land loves him. They've taken him as somebody who has been able to bring everybody together. He's been able to bring, for instance, what we call the Regbes. You have the age grade. He's been able to inspire a lot of people to join the age grade, so that when it is the time for Ojude Oba, they all come out in their finesse. Everybody comes out to pay homage to him because of the love they have for him.
Ijebu people will be better off if he rules them, if possible, for the next 50 years. Because he is so good in ruling, he is so good in helping, he is so good in giving advice.
He, however, took special interest in the Ojude Oba festival, which was traditionally held 2 days after Ileya, during which the Regbe will come and parade and present themselves as a group to the Awujale.
25th anniversary of Awujale. I was deeply involved. It was during this period that the issue of Regbe, which is the focal point of the Ojude Oba today, came in, and we were able to convince the Awujale to mobilize for Regbe. Ironically, it was 3 of us that first showed up. Myself, Professor Kua, and I've forgotten the name of the third person. We started it all, and today it is all the best for the Ojude Oba Festival.
This was done in remembrance of when the first Muslim converts in Jebu came to thank the reigning Awujale for the time for allowing them practice Islam. Today, the festival is open to people of all faiths and is an opportunity for Ijebu descendants to mingle with other age grades, to assess the development efforts of the groups, pay obeisance to the Oba, and renew their allegiance to him.
I said earlier, he brought glamour into Obaship, and that is why you have a lot of professionals now coming to their various villages to become royal fathers.
Oba Adetono, in agreement with a non-governmental think tank, Development Policy Center, successfully launched a poverty alleviation program, which drew its root from the United Nations Development Program. With efficient financial management and transparency, the scheme was enabled to grow the initially seed sum of 500,000 naira given to them by the DPC to over 100 million naira in current assets and has benefited over 5,000 people.
Well, my own generation, we don't know any other Awujale apart from Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetono. And like I said earlier, he brought a lot of development to Jebu land.
Baba, you have been a father to everybody. A father in the sense that you have been able to mold the Jebu nation, coalesce them into one. And everybody has had a peaceful time during your reign. That is a blessing from God indeed. I feel personally that without Kabiyesi Alayeluwa or by Dr. SK or Adetono on the throne, perhaps the Jebu nation would not be as strong and as powerful as it has been during the last 54 years or so.
Because Oba Adetono started his reign earlier than most Obas, he has had the daunting task of balancing family, business, and the office of Awujale. He started his business by taking a loan from the bank, bought a lorry for the purpose of transporting timber from Omoso Mill to their customers. The business grew rapidly, acquiring more lorries, and eventually he was able to buy Omo sawmills with Chief Timothy Adeola Odutola under the indigenization decree of 1973. He went into several other businesses: cement dealership, logging, and real estate, all of which were successful.
Someone says we are like Siamese twins. And this is something I'm very excited about. And I'm proud of it. But I want to say that he's been divinely chosen because he has come at the right time. He had seen and he had conquered. He has remodeled Ijebu. He has remodeled Jebu. He had brought in a lot of physical developments. He had instituted the regberegwes and other things. He had built for us the best palaces, palace and extension that you can ever find in Nigeria. Just as he calls me the jewel of the Jebus, I'm calling him the, just wait, the most precious jewel the good Lord had presented the Jebus.
The Oba, he is a family man at heart with a large heart. He has a large nuclear family, and although he was unable to spend enough quality time with his children, he has been blessed with several grandchildren that he considers to be his best friends.
My relationship with my father is cordial, but he has a lot of expectation of me, and because of we sometimes find it hard to agree, as usual. And that has been the relationship between myself and him.
As you know, we Jebus, we have this pilgrimage every Christmas, no matter where you are in the world, where you're studying, we tend to gravitate back home. And when we do, his home is open to all. We all have opportunities to go there. He takes a personal interest in everybody. Even to date, he's somebody who keeps in touch with people. He wants to know what they're doing, how well they're doing. He's very supportive. He lends a helping hand if you need anything, you need him to make a phone call. He really has served his people rather than himself.
I respect him so much, and I'm proud to be his son as a king. But as a father, what I found is that he sacrificed us, the children, just to keep the office.
Oh, well, as a leader, I just have to sacrifice for the people. You must sacrifice. A good leader must be prepared to be sacrificed. And you just have to do it. There's no way you can escape it to be a good leader.
The Oba feels privileged to be part of the Jebu state and fortunate to be given a role that has enabled him assist in several developmental efforts. He hopes that in his lifetime, Ijebu land will once again become Ijebu state, as it was in 1914, when it was one of the 24 provinces.
One thing, one of the ambitions of the President Awujale is to see Jebu nation become a state in Nigeria. You see, when this country was brought together 100 years ago in 1914 by the colonial masters, there were 24 provinces, and the Jebu nation was one of the 24. Now we have 36 states, and we are still not a state. So one of his ambitions, and I hope that he will achieve it in his lifetime, and in my own lifetime too, that this Ijebu kingdom will become one of the states of the Federation of Nigeria.
If one was to look at him and ask him to name a song, I can see him dancing to Ara song, atẹ́gùn fẹ́ ìjìjà kò gbé wa lọ ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. Kábíyèsí is our father. He is Orisha Jebu. He's empowered the Jebu people. He's created an extension and beautified the royalty. He's brought so many Jebu communities into full recognition by recognizing their obaships, and therefore he is a delight in company and a delight in thought. My prayer is that the good Lord, who has given him this privilege to be 80 years on earth, 54 years on the throne, will renew his health, nourish him, and give him continuous favor and grace, so that his reign will continue to be beautiful for the people of Ijebu land, and also even the people of Ogun State, where is a leading Oba, as well as the Yoruba land in general, and the people of Nigeria.
So Kábíyèsí adé apẹ́ lórí o, bàtà apẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀ o, pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ lórí ìtẹ́ àwọn baba ńlá yín o, nínú ọlá ńlá, nínú àlàáfíà ara, nínú iyì, nínú ẹ̀yẹ, Olúwa ò ní gbàṣọ yìí o. We can only continue to pray for you. You are our pride. Indeed, you are a very good example of how and what an Oba should be.
The entire Ijebu community wishes the Awujale a happy birthday and many more years as he turns 80.
I want to wish you a very long life and a happy birthday.
All I wish him now is robust health and long life, so that he can continue to rule the Jebus the way he has done in the past 50 years in peace.
Kábíyèsí Aláyélúwà Awujale ti dédé Ìjẹ̀bú, ọba akílẹ̀ dédé ẹni, mo kí wọ́n kú oríire o, wọ́n kú oríire, ọjọ́ àdàlẹ́ o, ọjọ́ wọn àdàlẹ́, wọ́n kú oríire bá mi o, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú. Òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú òye, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú òye, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú àgbè wà níjà, ayé ilé, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú àgbè wà níjà. Awujale ló ní Ìjẹ̀bú, kó má máa jẹyàwó jẹ̀wá o. Òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú òye, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú òye, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú àgbè wà níjà, ayé ilé, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú àgbè wà níjà. Congratulations to Kábíyèsí, to my brothers and my sisters, the children, to the Oloris, mo kí gbogbo yín.
Èyí tó tún kù ní kí n sọ fún yín Kábíyèsí pé ẹ máa ń sọ fún wa pé àwa tá à ń pé rire o, Ìjẹ̀bú ò pé méjì o, Ìjẹ̀bú ò pé méjì o, Ìjẹ̀bú ò pé méjì o, àwa tá à ń pé rire o, Ìjẹ̀bú ò pé méjì o. Kábíyèsí adé apẹ́ lórí o, òrìṣà Ìjẹ̀bú, ẹnu mi á ṣe ẹ́ o.
Before we became Nigerian, we were Yorubas. Before we were Yorubas, we were Jebus. And before anything else, we had parents. Kábíyèsí, words are inadequate to express my joy for you. That in spite of human vicissitudes, in spite of health challenges, you are still on your legs, robustly going to celebrate your 80th birthday. Like your people said, I rejoice with you and I rejoice with myself. that we will both be witnesses of each other's joys. God bless you all.
àjòjì tó bá wọ́n kúrú yóò dẹni ẹ̀bọ̀rà lé bàbá tó bí ọlọ́mọ ìjẹ̀bú ọmọ èrè ni wà ọmọ olówó tẹ̀m̀báyé kówó kúkú ìjókòó kótódò wẹ́rú kótódò wọ́ ọmọ ìran ìjẹ̀bú nínáwó dọ́là fóyìnbó tó kówó dé òyìnbó lóde lọ́wọ́ ń pọ̀ sí ọmọ ẹlẹ́kùn yí àdéwìrè òsàjẹ́ndà bí onílé yìí ni wọ́n fi pé ìtọ́ ìjẹ̀bú owó kẹlẹ̀bẹ̀ jẹ̀bú owó ìgbẹ́ jẹ̀bú owó ìtọ̀ jẹ̀bú owó ọ̀tún jẹ̀bú owó òsì jẹ̀bú owó wájú jẹ̀bú owó ẹ̀yìn jẹ̀bú owó kékeré jẹ̀bú owó àgbà jẹ̀bú owó dúdú jẹ̀bú owó pupa jẹ̀bú owó ìjọba jẹ̀bú tí mo mọ̀ ní wọ́n lówó lọ́wọ́ o ìjẹ̀bú lẹ́ ọmọ èrè ni wọ́n.